Welcome to the TroutCast, the only podcast that isn't about fishing.
Hello, welcome to episode number 4 of the TroutCast, the only podcast that isn't about fishing. I'm your captain, Kelgore Trout. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment or rating. Today we have our most special guest yet. How is it going, Duncan?
Very good. I'm very happy to be here.
Duncan is a super cool video editor and commentary YouTuber, also known as Kuncan Dastner. At least that's how I say it.
God, it's a terrible name.
Whatever. It's memorable. Also, you're on Twitter at Kuncan Dastner. I'll have the links below. If you enjoy my YouTube videos, you'll probably like Duncan's even more. They're very good. So real quick, let me make sure I have a timer going because the TroutCast is never longer than 30 minutes. And we've got 28 minutes left on the clock.
Oh no.
So, first question. You have seen a lot of growth on your YouTube channel recently. You've gained tens of thousands of subscribers within weeks. What gives you the right?
That's my question. I'm going through the exact same thing. Growth on YouTube is so random. Like,
it's not random. It's very deserved. You're awesome.
Well, thank you. I guess when I say random, I mean like you don't like achieve it by like doing a specific thing because the YouTube algorithm is some crazy monster that nobody's ever seen, and you don't know where it's going next. Like I've had a video. The first time my channel blew up was a video I made 4 months ago. Just exploded, and
like
I saw
4 months after the fact.
Yes.
Interesting.
I went from I think like 3,000 to 6,000, so like I doubled. And I was like, where is this coming from? Like my recent videos are like not doing well. Where are all these people coming from? And I had to scroll back and be like, oh, this old ass video I haven't touched in
Which
forever.
video was it?
That was a video about Eddie Burback, the commentary channel Eddie, and like a bunch of people like helped him on Twitter after Keemstar called him out. Big thing.
Fucking Keemstar. Oh my God. Oh man. I've never really like crossed paths with him or like interacted at all, but just what a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh, I don't recommend it.
I've just seen some very like weird, like transphobic stuff posted by that account. I don't know. Obviously I'm kidding, but have you felt like some imposter syndrome kind of stuff going on? You seem like a very humble person, and so I assume that you're what the fuck? What is going on?
It's funny. This happened over the course of like maybe 2 weeks. And during that time period, I was moving from the city I was studying college in back here into my house. So I was so wrapped up in selling my furniture and like figuring out where my plane ticket was that like everything online didn't feel very real at all.
Yeah.
Like I saw the number go up and I was like, huh? I don't care about that. Like I have a couch to sell. And so finally when I got here, I settled in. I was like done with moving. And I was like, oh, my channel went up by like 40 to 50,000 people. And then
were you able to even like read all the comments and stuff, or was it just like flew past?
I used to be so proud of myself. I would like read and respond to like almost every comment because I want people to feel like I'm listening. Because the reason I'm doing this is for like discussions. I'm tackling controversy, things that have like discussions around them. So something I try to do is like participate in those discussions instead of just bringing up something and then leaving.
Yeah.
So but like once this happened, like I've been juggling trying to like get to all of them. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think all of them have to be like responded to necessarily, but that is really nice that you like the ones that are more like questions or discussions. That's great to like actually respond to them and try to, although I have also gotten in, like, not really on my channel, but on other people's channels, like I'll comment and then like later I'll go look and there's like 15 replies and they're all like really toxic. And I'm like, oh, I don't even want to look.
Yeah.
YouTube has some
sometimes
weird
I'll get like a
comments.
really toxic one and I'll just be like, I'm
It's
just gonna
fine.
pretend I didn't see
Yeah.
that. You know?
Yeah, or like they bring up something that like I talked about for 5 minutes in the video, like at length, like
you just know they
discussing why
didn't
it's
get that far. It's
yeah,
like,
and I'm
oh.
like, exactly, or like it's like a point that I'm like, here's like a counter argument, and here's my response to it, and they just say the
They
exact
just
thing.
miss it.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I don't really feel the need to respond. I already kind of did. So when people ask you like, hey, oh, what kind of videos do you make? What do you say? Because I've actually had a hard time with this question, but I kind of I'm curious what you say.
I try to disguise it by saying, oh, I do like media literacy analysis and discussion based. And then I just try to throw out words because something about commentary YouTuber is just so.
It's like saying you're an influencer, right? It has kind of like a negative connotation to it. Not that you're like an influencer. Like I'm just saying, like
but
that
the
word.
loudest influencers are like the Jake Pauls. You know, it's like you don't really want to like be put in a bin with them. So
for sure.
I try to tell
like
people,
I would never want to be like, I'm a vlogger.
Oh no, never.
Don't say the V word. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely like, oh, I try to do like discussion-based media analysis.
That's good.
And then just hope if they go to my channel, they like they like it.
Yeah. Now, out of curiosity, did it take you a while to like find that like niche, or like did you pretty much just start out by doing exactly that and kept doing it?
I've been watching YouTube for I think like 4 to 5 years pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And I think for 3 of those, I was like, I want to do a commentary channel. But I was just scared to start, obviously,
or
as most kids are.
What gives you the right?
Exactly. So I spent 3 of those years just lurking. Like just I would consume only commentary and trying to learn. So when I started my YouTube channel, I was like, well, I can't just start with commentary. So I tried to upload like simple like vlogs, me and a friend going out and doing something, or like, oh, here's a funny joke. But in my mind, I'm just like 3 more weeks until I can start commentary. And so it was kind of like it was always my plan, but I didn't want to like look too eager. So I like tried to.
Interesting.
It was all in my head. Nobody.
You kind of like gate kept yourself a little bit.
Exactly. I had 30 subscribers at the time. Nobody cared, but I was so in my head. I was like, I got to do this right.
Yeah. That's interesting though. I feel like I'm still kind of trying to figure out my niche. Like I know what I like and I like all sorts of different stuff, but certain things definitely get a better response from people. And so like, I don't know, maybe that's bad. Maybe that's like a feedback loop, but like, I'm like, whatever you guys want, I'm going to keep doing it because I do want it to be stuff that people like and engage with and everything. And if I get sick of it, I don't really do anything I don't want to do. So I'm sure I would just stop, but it is hard to find like your exact thing without just trying different things.
Right. And you have to pick in this kind of profession, like a lot of people say, oh, it's not about the views, or it's not about like giving people like the thing that they want and like for the clicks. But at the same time, if you talk about something like very niche that you're into and it gets like 2 views, you're kind of like, you know, like, oh, yeah. So you have to like find that middle ground where it's like something you're legitimately passionate about and something you think people like actually want to listen to.
Yeah, like repetitively, right? Like again and again. True, exactly. And then some things are just like one-hit wonders, and that's fine. Like I'm not going to keep doing just because something was like a good one-off video doesn't mean you should make a whole series about it or whatever.
I would never do an Eddie Burback and Keemstar 2, right? Like
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna demean myself that badly. Yeah.
I would say, so my like general synopsis of your content would be like a well-adjusted look at internet culture. Like kind of like Tiffany Ferg, like, who sent a lot of people over to me, which was a very cool thing. So a lot of people listening to this probably are familiar with her as well. You seem to be able to like digest online trends without being like weird about it, right? Or like
that's a compliment. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you're able to like look at it and be like a third party and not like a fan of like these crazy people online. And she does that too, you know, where she like kind of analyzes it and looks at both sides.
She's amazing at that. Yeah,
you seem to be able to watch like the trending videos, the James Charles kind of stuff, so that I don't have to, right? Like I can get it through you. And it's like I don't want to watch that like outrage bait, but I still want to know about it. So it's fun to watch your commentary on it.
Exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I'm so sorry that you have to go watch them.
Oh, yeah, I do it for a reason, you know. Some sick part of me loves it. You're so right about like the outrage baiting, because like I don't like a lot of these people, but at the same time, it's so interesting. They are just this huge part of like internet culture. Like I think
successful despite being awful.
They're successful for a reason. That's what I always have to remind myself. Like there's a market for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're very self-aware about the fact that you don't want to be part of the problem, though. Like when I watched your outrage bait one, it was like I've had that same thought of like, I want to do an outrage bait video, but I also like to cover outrage bait. So I don't know what to do. Like, I know that I fall for the bait sometimes. We all do. And so I'm like, I'd love to talk about these things, but also I shouldn't, because I shouldn't even give them the time of day. But like you seem to do a good job of like striking a balance between like, I know that I'm doing this too, but I'm doing it for a reason, right?
Right. Well, I have to really bank on that reason.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I try not to talk about things just because like, oh, whoa, it's in the news, you know, because I really want to like get to like why it's in the news, you know? And so if I have to like throw their name in the title, then like, I guess I have to. And then all the people like from whatever drama's going on, I think they come over, the new audience comes over expecting kind of like the usual rage bait kind of stuff. And then hopefully they're like, oh, wow, this dude isn't, you know, yelling at anybody or like focusing on the negatives.
No, you're so nice about things too. Like you give so much like patience to these people that I'm like, I must learn, because I get so mad. I'm like,
internally I'm like breaking things. Like obviously.
I just watched your Abby Shapiro one, and when she sings at the end, when she sings goodbye, like I think I was like getting ready or something, and I heard it and I was like, oh my god, she's singing again. And then I thought maybe you were gonna not comment on it, and then you like couldn't even not comment on it because it's so corny. It's so bad.
You know, you can say whatever you want about Abby Shapiro, but she is unapologetically herself, and she is
either the stupidest person in the world or the smartest person in the world. I have not decided yet.
It's one of those. Yeah.
She gets people talking, and it's so funny. I don't know. Just so everyone loves being analyzed, I think. So for any of your subscribers or fans that might be listening to this, I want to ask you this: who do you think your audience is? Like if you had to paint a picture of like your demographic, like who do you think listens and like follows along with you?
That is a good question.
Yeah, based on like what you read in the comments and stuff, like, you know, do you think it's mostly like people who are super online, or do you think it's like mostly women or men, or, you know, leftists, or is it people that are like coming like out of the woodwork to like argue with you? Like who is it?
Well, for sure, it's a little bit of everybody, right?
Yeah.
I sometimes like I'll look through like my recent Instagram followers, and they'll be like a 14-year-old and then like a 65-year-old, and I'm
Oh,
like, who is watching my stuff?
yeah.
But if I had to like condense it all down into like the audience member, I
Hmm.
think it is like a early 20s kind of left-leaning good online person, like
Yeah.
someone who might not be obsessed with
Yeah.
YouTubers, but like maybe they own like one piece of merch from like their very favorite.
They're just
Um,
observers.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
like because YouTube for a lot of people is like television, right? We tune
Hmm.
into different channels to like the same way maybe our like parents kind of like tuned into like the news or their own channels. And it's weird to think about how like the people you pass on the street like watch the same videos you do potentially. And it's like I think YouTube has
Yeah.
become the new worldwide TV for like people our age.
That's
And
true.
so trying to
I've
think
never
about
really
who's
thought
watching
about that.
you.
Like who else I might know that watches the same people. I was talking to a
Right.
friend the other day in real life who is pretty online, and I was so surprised because they like didn't seem to know anybody that I knew. And I was like, how
Right.
do you
Yeah.
not know any of the people I'm throwing out? And it wasn't obscure like podcasts or anything. It was like
Hmm.
big YouTube channels. And I was like,
Yeah. I
really? Like
mean,
you don't watch any of it?
some people are just like in their own corner of
I
YouTube. Like
guess,
for some
yeah.
people, it's all like sports
Or
highlights
all streaming.
or all streaming, right?
And
Or
I'm
like
like not
a
really a part of
specific
that
video
world.
game. And like, yeah.
Yeah. It seems fun though. I did one stream like on someone else's channel. Obviously, I don't
Mhm.
have my own streaming channel, and it was really cool. It was interesting to like get the live comments from people and stuff. Have you had any weird like parasocial stuff happen to you? You're nodding
Am
and
I
looking
nodding?
off into the distance.
I
What's
I've
going
had
on?
it's tricky and because like I get it because like I try my best to be very friendly and when
Hmm.
people connect with that, they connect with that. And so
Hmm.
I've had 1 to 2 people who have like tried to figure out where I live so they can like
Oh.
hang out. And I have to be careful because if they hear me bad mouthing them, they might kill me. But I think they're
Oh
just
my
people
god.
who just connect a little bit too much. And
Do you
like
want me
I
to
can't
not put
blame
this in here? I
them.
can cut this out
No,
if
it's
you're
it's
okay.
totally
Okay.
fine.
I got
It's
yeah. I've gotten like a couple little things. I've been on Twitter for a long time, so I'm kind of used to weird interactions. But
Twitter. Oh,
I seem to I'm gonna regret saying this, but I seem to attract fewer really weird bad interactions than a lot of the other people like seem to. But maybe
yeah.
it scales. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen my friends who like aren't like social media influencers or
Hmm.
like have platforms. They could have like 120 followers, and they'll post a screenshot of just the grossest direct message I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'm like, that's
Just like,
never
and I'm
happened
like,
to me.
how do people like click send on a message like that and then just lean back like, yeah, yeah, that was a good one. Like,
No, yeah,
I don't get that.
exactly. So yeah, I was gonna ask you because you said you seem to kind of attract people in a way because you are very like open and welcoming, like, and you're very kind in terms of like your assessment of things, and so it seems like you try to be reasonable. Obviously, you have like your opinions too, but I was
Mhm.
wondering how how do you like identify politically,
Mhm.
or do you?
I mean, I definitely do.
Okay.
I think I was one of those people who like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I was just like, I don't want to know about it. Like the
Yeah.
politicians are hired because people thought they were ready to go. Like just they're doing their job. I'm gonna focus on like, I don't know, like 12th grade homework or whatever I was worried about it. But you know, in recent years, the political landscape has changed.
And I think a lot of us have changed.
Yes, we have changed with it.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm in the middle of like graduating college and
Mhm.
becoming an adult. So like I'm getting my eyes open to a lot of like the systems that you have to participate in and the different things that just suck money out of you, and
You've
you're like,
arrived. Yeah.
yeah, don't love this. I'm still struggling to figure out an exact label, but I'm disappointed by both Democrats and Republicans, and
Yeah.
I think food should be free. So I guess
Yeah.
socialist or like something pretty
Yeah,
far
I always
left.
just kind of say leftist because
Mhm.
even if I don't really know, I'm sure I could take a quiz or someone else could tell me probably better than I
Right.
could where exactly I fall. But the thing is, if I was like, hey, I'm like a democratic tanky, so you know whatever you want to say, like whatever box you want to put me in, I
Like
feel like the
like a
problem
three label
is,
thing. Right.
yeah, exactly. The problem is like I'm worried if I go around saying like, "Hey, I'm a this," that like I'm excluding other people. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm putting myself in like, you know, in a box and it's like you're not allowed in here. And like I don't really want to do that because dude, I'm sympathetic to like my very conservative family. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot
Hmm.
of I don't know about patience, something like that. I have a lot of patience or something for people with different worldviews because I'm like, you got there somehow, right? And
Right. It's
so
about that
I never want to
understanding.
like label myself in a way that would like make other people not want to talk to me or approach me or you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
kind of understand. I kind of just say leftist because same thing. I'm like, well, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, so kind of you know, and I'm not a libertarian. So whatever
Right.
the other option is,
Yeah,
sure.
it's so and you're
It's
so
not really
right,
an
right?
option. Let's be honest. Being a leftist isn't one of our choices. Like
It's
we don't get to vote leftist.
exactly right. There's so many. I'm just not really educated enough, and that is something I'm trying to work on recently, is to
I
just
think that's good to
figure out
know, though.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
First,
like
I'll learn
I don't want
everything and
to
then I'll decide.
exactly. I because like I don't want to like hear the first thing that sounds like me and then just definitive be like, okay, I'm this, you know? I'm gonna add
Yeah.
it to my Twitter bio. Because like if
Yeah,
I don't
definitely
know
not
everything
that.
about it, then like it could be exclusionary towards like a specific person that like I don't want to like label myself as. But I'm
True.
also not the trick with being understanding is that you can walk that line to like being a pushover, because like
Yeah.
I will have some people who are like, hey, you believe in this, right? So does that mean you believe in this? And I'm like, no, oh no. Like
Yeah.
there's no leeway there. It's just
True. And
you
and
have to be careful.
also people like say I said I was like I just went around and said like, "Oh, like I'm an anarcho-communist or something."
Hmm.
The issue is that they now think that I think that they should become that too, and that I'm going to sit here and try to convince them to become that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, absolutely never trying to do that. Like I just want everyone to be a little bit happier.
That's
Right?
good
Like,
politics. I
yeah.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's always this argument of like, oh, the communists are trying to like take away our whatever, and it's like, dude,
Yeah.
I just want to be able to go to the fucking doctor.
Right. They're trying to
Like,
take our statues. It's like,
yeah, what I don't even care about statues. I don't even like
yeah.
statues. Take them all.
Right.
Okay, so we need to do the advice segment. And I
Hmm.
hope that you're ready to give some very sage, serious advice. I'm just kidding. We're going to give terrible advice. And you can also get some terrible advice if you email your like distress story to the TroutCast@gmail.com. Okay, so we got this one. I don't know how well this applies to you or really to me, but we're going to answer it anyways.
Perfect.
It says, "Hey Kelgore, I really want to quit my job and but I can't risk losing any income. I keep applying for new jobs and it reminded me of your job hunting is terrible video. If I get a new job, is it okay not to give 2 weeks notice? I've only had this job for about 7 months and it's terrible and I don't get enough hours. Am I a bad person if I don't give them notice? What would you do?" All right, you go first. because I know what I'm going to say.
I don't know how popular this opinion is going to be, but
Mhm.
I am convinced that the 2 weeks notice, or even like the 4 weeks notice,
Mhm.
is like a myth that was taught to us by our employers, right? They're like,
Yeah,
oh, if you're
absolutely.
gonna leave, like, because like it's tricky, because it's like considerate, because you want to give them enough time to like find someone to fill your position so you don't make it
Mhm.
harder for everyone else. But if it's like a bad job that is like taking advantage of you or like
Yeah.
mistreating you, then get out,
They're
you
all
know?
bad jobs
Don't,
that are taking advantage of you and mistreating you.
yeah, I guess
You
don't give them
sent this
two
to me for
weeks.
a reason because you want me to confirm exactly what
That's
you want to
true. They
hear.
might have
Yeah.
already made up their mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, by the time that they're going to hear this, I hope that they've already quit without notice. It sounds
Oh
like they
yeah.
haven't gotten a new job yet, but
That
I
is
would
something you want
say,
to make sure you have lined up, at least something,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't take my own advice in that regard, but it's probably for the best, especially if, like, you don't know if
Hmm.
you're going to be able to get another job. Although there's a lot of jobs right now, so I'm hearing. Um, I would say that especially if it's part-time, don't worry about it. The one thing is sometimes it does make life harder on like the people you work with. So maybe
Hmm.
either just like send them a little pre-apology or
Oh yeah, that's
like,
considerate. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, but like that does kind of suck if you feel like you're screwing over like the other hourly employees or something.
Right.
But yeah, I would say that like the 2 weeks notice thing should be an advantage to you. Like if you're like, hey, I got a new job, but it doesn't start for a month. I need to keep this one until then, and I can help train somebody. But if it's like a really bad job and you're not like buddy buddy with them or something, I wouldn't really
Hmm.
worry about it. I've
Yeah.
definitely given 0 notice and I've given like 6 months notice before.
Hmm.
But this sounds like a pretty dumb situation. So, and like it says they got the job 7 months ago, which would have been during COVID. So it probably really sucks.
Yeah.
But I've
Yeah, it's
also been
very true.
unemployed for over a year. So I'm like the worst person to ask this question to. And you knew that when you sent this. You knew exactly what I was going to say. Is there any more advice you have for this kind person?
You know what? Life is too short to
Yeah,
do
that's
anything for other people. Do something for you.
if you want advice for your situation, email me TroutCast@gmail.com. TroutCast was taken. What the fuck?
There's another TroutCast. Wow.
Don't email it to them. TroutCast@gmail is just getting these like crazy questions all the time.
Right.
So before we finish up here, Duncan, can you give our listeners a little bit of motivation? You have 10 seconds. No, but maybe just a little bit of Kuncan Dastner certified motivation.
Yeah. All right. I'm an idiot and I did it. So anyone can do it. I
Yeah,
record audio on my phone.
I
Like
noticed that.
it's so low budget. I just want to prove that like anyone can do it. Anyone can start at least. And like it's okay if you don't have 1 million subscribers by the end of the week, as long as you like have fun during the process, then like it's all worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge fear of mine is doing all of the things that I do. Everything I do scares me. But hey, I like randomly reached out to Duncan here and was like, dude, come on the pod. And then he's like, yeah.
Yeah, it
So
worked out
you
for
never know what's
everybody.
going to happen. And also, YouTube has been pretty, not financially, but pretty rewarding in the sense of like creating.
Mhm.
I would say that if you feel like it, then start a YouTube channel. Just try it. I don't know. It's free. You already have a phone. But thank you so much for coming on here. Is
Thank
there
you for
anything else you
having
want to
me.
say?
No, I love you
Yeah.
all. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we love you. That's the Kuncan Dastner sign off. We love you.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks for listening.